Hey folks, Cam Newton responded to a lot of, as you can read here, post-game criticism regarding the fact that he walked away from the podium after the Panthers' 24-10 loss to the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 50. Well, he said this according to this from the NFL Network. Take a listen, and then I'm going to give you my comments.
I didn't want to talk to the media at the time. Um, and truth of the matter is, I really still don't want to talk to the media. But at the end of the day, things has to happen. I had a lot of time to go back and play everything back. And like I say, I'm human. I've never once said that I was perfect. I never proclaimed that I was perfect. But at the end of the day, um, people pick and they do things of that sort. And that the truth of the matter is, who are you to say that your way is right? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, we got all these people that's condemning and saying, oh man, he should have did this, that, and the third. But what makes your way right? I mean, I've been on record to say I'm a sore loser. Who likes to lose? You show me a good loser, and I'm gonna show you a loser. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to. It's not a popularity contest. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to win football games. And for this organization, for Mr. Richardson, for my teammates, um, and for what it's worth, my fans, they know what's real. And I leave everything else out on the field. I prepare the right way. I have a mentality. I have a standard that I set for myself. And I'm not going to bend nor break. I don't dive on one fumble because the way my leg was, it could have been contorted away. Okay, you say my effort. I didn't dive down. I fumbled. That's fine. But at the end of the day, that game wasn't built off of. We didn't lose that game because of that fumble. I can tell you that. So, you can condemn and say, well, oh man, he gave up, he did that, and the third. But hey, as long as my teammates know, as long as my coaches know, as long as anybody that's following this team knows. I mean, it's easy for a person to nitpick and say, oh man, Cam this, oh he gave up, he did that. That's cool, that's fine. I mean, I'm a grown man, I can understand that. But to say some things along the lines of that and to say it in my face, that's extremely different.
Now, I think right there, what he is referring to is when he was sitting, he being Cam Newton, when he was sitting at the podium, because of the way the system was set up at Levi Stadium, and why it was set up this way, I do not know. But he and others could hear over the loudspeaker what Chris Harris of the Broncos was saying. Specifically, they said, well, that they put the game into his hands, and I'm paraphrasing here, and basically they knew that the Panthers couldn't win if he being Cam Newton had to throw the ball. And if you have a look at the video where Cam Newton's at the podium, he looks up like this because he's listening to the loudspeaker. And then he kind of does this and says, in other words, as if to say, well, why am I here? And he walks off. And from that perspective, I don't blame him. Now, I don't agree that a person who handles a loss like Peyton Manning handled his loss 45-8 to the Seattle Seahawks is a loser. But I do agree that there is more than one way to handle losing. However, I still believe that Cam needs to do this. And I take it from something that Jim Turner, when he was the kicker for the Broncos, said after the Broncos 27-10 loss to the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl 12. He said, we were out there thinking about winning, and they were out there thinking about football. And he was talking about how the Cowboys had a very intricate game plan that they executed for that game perfection, whereas the Broncos weren't thinking so much about plans as what they would do when they won. And I think that was the Panthers' problem, and I think that was Cam's problem. He was thinking too much about what it would mean if he won on Black History Month and so on. But that was not the important thing to think about. you have to think about football in the moment of the Super Bowl because time goes by quickly in that game. I have more comments on that later. I want to hear your comments. I'm going to run a poll also. But those are the comments that Cam Newton made today.